Hello and welcome to Ticket Manager's All Access interview series, engaging leaders from across the sports marketing spectrum to identify and explore critical issues in the business of sports, entertainment, sponsorship, activation, ticketing, hospitality, and even more. I'm your host, Jim Andrews. Joining me on this episode to discuss a wide range of topics, which is appropriate since he sits at the top of the org chart, is Brad Sims, Chief Executive Officer for New York City Football Club. Welcome, Brad. Good to see you, and thanks for joining us.
Jim, hey, thanks for having me.
My pleasure. I think it would be helpful for this conversation to first discuss NYCFC and how you're part of City Football Group. It's a very unique proposition in sports. So can you explain a little bit about the group structure and how it kind of sets you apart?
We had a vision. Our global CEO, Ferran Soriano, had a vision to build kind of the first ever global soccer company, and Manchester City is kind of the original team, but growing. How do we grow and have a global footprint? In especially in the markets that are most key growth markets in the world. So his first order of business was to try and figure out how to get a team in New York City. So that was on his first. He famously says on his first day on the job in 2012, he flew to New York to meet with Don Garber and negotiate a MLS expansion franchise. From there, pretty quickly, NYCFC was launched. Our first season was in 2015 as an expansion club in Major League Soccer. And from there, we are now 10 clubs around the world. I've been with the group now 2 years. It's just coming up on my 2-year anniversary. The idea is, to be this really unique global proposition, both from a commercial and business standpoint, where we have a global commercial team that is out, and we have 12 different offices around the world and selling multi-team or full group-wide commercial opportunities. And so from a business standpoint, we think that we're able to deliver not just a team in the UK in the English Premier League, but we're able to deliver the US market via New York. We're able to deliver India, China, and so on. So we believe we have just that unique value proposition from a business and commercial standpoint, but then we also have it from a football standpoint. And it's one of the things where when we're recruiting players around the world, there's a pathway, there's opportunities. Great example is our leading scorer this year, Valentin Castellanos, who was just named MLS Player of the Month. He came to us from our club in Uruguay, in Montevideo.
Absolutely. I mean, it really takes advantage of the global nature of the sport, both from that participant and player perspective, as well as the fan perspective.
That's the thing that's unique about soccer. I think that, in baseball, if you're a Yankees fan, you're not also a, Yokohama Tigers fan, or you're not also, you don't have all these other clubs in different, in the South Korean league and the Japanese league in different places, or, in any sports, you're not, if you're a New York Rangers fan, you're not also a big fan of some club in Russia or Sweden or something like that. But in soccer, there's people who like, oh, my Premier League club is Manchester City, but my, La Liga club is Barcelona, and my, Serie A Italian club is Juventus, and they can have those different allegiances, and that's kind of normal. And so for us, we're positioned as, especially in our market, that you can be a Man City fan, and then New York City makes sense for you. But if you live in New York and you're a Chelsea fan or you're a Tottenham fan, you can also still be an NYCFC fan as well.
I'd like to turn and talk more about NYCFC specifically and what's been happening this year. If we want to go back, obviously 2020 has been a year of major disruption.
Yeah, I mean, when everything happened in March, we had just started our season. We were playing in the CONCACAF Champions League and just starting in our MLS season. And then kind of everything happened very quickly, and we were instantly in a work from home standpoint. And in New York, as everyone's probably knows, it was just hit really hard. It was the epicenter, the global epicenter, in kind of March and April. And so, a few things from our standpoint is we felt like we had to first and foremost take care of our team members, our employees, our players, our coaches, everyone in his staff, like how can we make sure that everyone's safe and healthy, and then also that their jobs were preserved, because that it was just going to be such tough times. And that's something that I'm really proud that our organization as a whole, and this credit to our ownership group and the kind of the vision and leadership at our most senior levels, including from our global CEO, was right off the bat was we have to take care of our people. That's got to be priority number one. And so we're proud that we have yet at this point there's been no layoffs, no furloughs, no salary reductions to any of our employees at New York City or Manchester or other places. And so that was a key piece of from the employee standpoint, not just our full-time employees taken care of, but also these game day employees that help make the experience at our games so fantastic. But we felt like we had to do more for the community, and the South Bronx specifically is our home. That's where Yankee Stadium is, and working with our corporate partners, working with our supporters, including our official supporter group, the Third Rail, and many others to try and deliver meals to those in need during those tough times. And so actually to date, and it's something that we've been continued on since March, and we're still working hard to grow our numbers, but to date, between the club and our partners, we've contributed well over 200,000 meals to the South Bronx community, and we're still going, and we're still trying to find ways to do more. We actually utilized an annual what we call Citizens Giving, which is a city football group global kind of campaign that's done every year, and there's different kind of focuses for that community work in all of our markets each year. And this year, for obvious reasons, the focus was on COVID relief across the globe for all city football group markets. And we focused 100% of our efforts to the South Bronx and via New York Common Pantry and other partnerships that was just fully focused on our home base in the South Bronx. Our Jersey partner, Etihad Airways, donated the front of shirt for one of our nationally televised matches to Citizens Giving for relief of the South Bronx, and just raising awareness that the South Bronx was in need of help, and how can we all work together to show support.
And just before we leave the cause and community space, I'd love to hear a little bit more about another initiative, Saturday Night Lights, and how that's been working for you.
Yeah, Saturday Night Lights is a big initiative from our foundation, our city, and the community. And the idea there is to take gyms that and find more. It's really to find more safe places on weekend nights. So we have the safe places, kind of some of these safe spaces during the daytime, but we also want to find safe spaces, especially on kind of weekend nights. This is something that is extremely important. It takes kids off the streets, gives them safe spaces to do a number of different things, whether it's primarily it's soccer, skills, but we have a number of different types of programming that we do, and that really provides growth opportunities for these kids. And it's one of the best things we do now. We're looking to expand it, and we think we are going to have an exciting plan kind of coming out of 2021 to get some really explosive growth in that program.
We could talk about sports for good for hours. I know I could, but I wanted to spend a little bit of time too, just on some more of the practical business considerations coming out of 2020 and as we head into 2021. And talk a little bit about how you handled season tickets, because you kind of took a unique position on that in the wake of COVID.
I'll never forget, because we were playing a Champions League game on March 11th, and we were at the stadium. The game was going on, and I'm getting push notifications on my phone about the NBA canceling a game, and then an NBA, Rudy Gobert testing positive, and it was like saying like Tom Hanks, said he's positive, and it was like all this stuff was happening while we were playing a game. I'm sitting there in the second half of our game watching all this and being, this is happening quick, and we sent in a note to our staff saying, don't come into the office tomorrow, and we'll wait on more, further instruction. And then the next day was, don't come to the office on Friday or Monday and connect again. But on that Monday, or on the 15th of the month, is when we run season ticket payments. And so this was the 11th. It was the 15th. Everything was happening so fast. We didn't have much time to make a decision. It just didn't feel right. And so we communicated to our season ticket base that there's a lot of uncertainty. Things were happening fast, but we wanted to let them know that we were going to pause our payments, and we would kind of get back to them, just like we said to our employees, and we'll get back to that when we know what we're going to do, or where we know what's happening here. The following month, we sent a note out saying we're not going to charge you in April either, and we'll get back to you. And then it was, we're not going to charge you in May, and then I think in June we went back and said, we don't know if we're going to play this year. We hope we are, and if we do play, we don't know if we're going to be able to have fans or not. We hope we will, but at this point, we're going to ask. We're going to say we're not going to take any more payments for 2020. Fast forward to November to now. We've been playing games. We've gotten through a season. We have not had fans, and we had over 93% of our season ticket base elect to stay with us for 2021 and not take a refund, leave their money with us, and agree to move forward with 2021.
To me, it's a clear demonstration. Loyalty goes both ways, right? We always talk about fan loyalty in sports, and it's something that we predicate a lot on the fact that fans are so passionate and loyal to their favorite clubs, and it's kind of rare that clubs get to do something so demonstrable in terms of demonstrating loyalty back, and you kind of really seize that opportunity.
Yeah, and we felt good about it. I mean, it obviously hurts to take a zero in ticket revenue for the year, but it's one of these things that we're taking the long view, and with our club, this was year 6. We're in for the long haul, and our mission statement is to build New York City into one of the soccer capitals of the world, and the only way we're going to do that is to do things the right way and really take the long view approach about everything that we do in our business.
Clearly, it must have been a difficult thing to do, but the right thing to do. So, as you mentioned, the league did come back. You've been playing, but without fans. So, can you talk a little bit about some of the technology that you've used to keep the fans involved and engaged and close to their favorite club?
From the get-go, we're like, how do we get fans fired up and engaged about this? And we're still kind of learning how to do business in the virtual world. But we had Zoom rooms of fans throughout for all the games of the tournament, where we had content with kind of a pregame show, so to speak, with a guest host, and we would have different people from the club that would be kind of interviewed, provide insights. We would do something at halftime, so kind of watch the show. We would segment them up. So we had one time we had the third rail, our official supporters club. They had like their own room, so they can kind of interact and see each other's expressions and be able to kind of have that shared experience. And then we had rooms with maybe like corporate partners or different kind of subsets. I think a big way is we really ramped up our content, our focus on delivering content. We did a docu-series this year. We've done a number of different kind of digital content series. And something that resonated with me is someone said, we've gone from being a professional sports team to being a content creation company, essentially, because that's instead of putting on events, like this is what you had to put out. And we were pleased that we won a Clio award this year for our Undeniable series, one of our content series. So we really focused a lot on that, and so those are a couple of ways. But then also the broadcast experience was key for us, and instead of just showing a blank stadium, which is not the most entertaining background or backdrop to watch a match, we engaged in virtual signage solution for our home game. So we started our return to market home games playing at Red Bull Arena, which is our rival, our primary rival. Our challenge was, with Major League Baseball having a very condensed season, there was no windows really for us to play games at our normal home stadium, Yankee Stadium, and so we were playing at Red Bull Arena. But our challenge was, how do we make it look and feel on broadcast, which is where our fans were going to consume it, because they couldn't attend, unfortunately, in person. But also for our players and anyone in bowl to feel like it was more of a home game feel, which we haven't had. And so I couldn't believe, I was really impressed with how things turned out. We got a lot of really positive feedback where, we were able to use our colors. So that, Red Bulls we're blue, they're red. And they always say New York is red. We say New York is blue. And so a stadium that would normally be red, we were able to transform into NYCFC blue stadium with our partners, with our marketing messages. And it looked great. And our fans loved it. Fans it feels like the first time we've ever had a real home stadium in a home game. But we also had a lot of static signage throughout the building so that our players could also feel, because they can't see the virtual signage when they're out on the pitch. We had enough kind of at field level, around locker room, back of house areas so that they could feel like it was a home atmosphere as well. It went so well, and we got such great feedback that in 2021, if we are in a scenario where we're starting the season again with no fans, so which we're optimistic, there's a lot of optimism, heading into 2021, even with fans, and actually trying to plan accordingly of like, where do we seat fans so that we can maximize the broadcast experience with this virtual solution that we feel like is actually more additive to the broadcast than a smattering of fans socially distanced in the background would be TV visible. So, maybe we're having fans in kind of, 2/3 of the stadium that is mostly non-TV visible, and we have our virtual solution in the TV visible side. This is just something that we're still kind of in the early stages of kicking around, but that's how excited we were about it, how well it went, and we just got so much great feedback on it. And we feel like we've got to figure out a way to incorporate that going forward.
Right. And that's, I've talked to a lot of folks for this series and other places, and everybody's looking for, where can we pull the positives out of this year? And you mentioned a few things where, we had talked before 2020 about the need for sports teams and organizations to become content creators, and everybody had made taken some steps, some more than others, and to doing that. But now we were, even if our hands were forced because of the pandemic, we've gotten used to it, and we've seen some of the benefits of it, and there's no reason not to continue that once we're past the immediate crisis of the pandemic. You did mention, looking forward. I think, and we all want to do that. We're about to turn the page to 2021, and there's positive news, as you and I are talking about vaccines and all of that. So, so what are kind of your expectations, knowing that everything this year and next year is still a bit up in the air? But what are you thinking about in terms of kind of planning for 2021?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of optimism, I think, primarily because of news on vaccines. But I think that we're fully of the mindset, and MLS is planning on a full regular season. We are hoping that we will be able to have fans. We hope that we will be able to have fans from the beginning. I'm not sure if that's going to be in a socially distanced situation. Is probably maybe likely early in the season. But I think based on what we're hearing and reading in the medical community and the intel that we're seeing there, it's really optimistic and we do think that there's going to be this pent up kind of excitement for people to be able to get out, feel comfortable living their lives again, do things that they love and enjoy and they missed, like attending live sports events. And so, we definitely, and again, as I mentioned before, our fan base has given us, every indication that they're behind us, that they want to come to games, that they're ready to come when it's safe to do so, and when it's allowed. And so that's our expectation. We're going to be playing a full season. We'll be playing with fans. And I think that's positive. I think, there's likely to be, some headwinds. It's not going to like instantly snap our fingers and things are going to be back to where they were in 2019. I don't think anyone thinks that, but it doesn't mean we can't be excited and optimistic and looking forward to 2021 and the season that's going to bring. And I think, I feel like that's going to be something where wherever the season starts in terms of fans in the buildings and viewership and excitement and all the kind of the KPIs around our business, will be throughout 2021 will just be this kind of like ramp up over time. Maybe towards the end of the 2021 season, we're getting really close to a life is back to quote unquote normal situation, and that that 2022 we would be back to fully normal by then, if not before. So really optimistic. Our as I mentioned, our city members, our season ticket holders, our corporate partners, the support that we've had has been incredible. And everyone's on board, everyone's supportive, and they're ready to get after it. So hopefully we finish this year strong. And as we have playoffs, we have the completion of the Champions League. I mentioned our match on March 11th, the second leg of that match. Never had a 2-leg series with I guess 6-7 months in between, but that will be completed in December, and they're going to be completing the CONCACAF Champions League just before Christmas, after the MLS Cup, just before Christmas. So it's exciting times, and we hope that we finish the season strong. We love our chances. We feel like we're well positioned, and then carry some positive momentum into 2021.
Wish you the best of luck with all of that, and I think it's great to end on an optimistic note. So I'll just wrap it up and say, Brad, thank you so much. Very generous with your time and sharing some really great insights and experiences, and just can't thank you enough for doing that.
Absolutely, anytime. Pleasure being here. Thanks for having me, and look forward. Best wishes to everybody to finish 2020. I know everyone's excited to turn the page to 2021 as well. So we'll all look forward to celebrating, hopefully in person at some point in 2021. So
on behalf of everyone at Ticket Manager, thank all of you for watching, and please join us again for the next episode in our All Access series.